Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Thank you for tuning in with Let's Talk About It with Lady P. I am so happy that you are joining me tonight for our live podcast. And don't forget, it is live, so you can call in at 754 222 2219. I think that's it. I hope I got it right. So I've been up to some stuff lately. Haha. Let me talk. Well, let me welcome my viewers, those that are newer out there. I am Boss Lady P, and this is my podcast. I'm excited about where it's going. We'll be doing our season finale soon. However, I am so grateful. I don't take it for granted that you are joining me. I truly, truly appreciate you, and I feel all y'all make me feel so special. But it could be no me without you. So I'm grateful that you are here and I thank you for viewing. If you haven't liked and shared, please like and share. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, Real Life TV One, go ahead and subscribe so that way you'll get the notifications when the next session is coming up. Also, let me apologize for last week. I was a bit under the weather, and then before I knew it, Thursday was there, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't. So I do apologize for that, but we're back on track. And again, I want to welcome you. Also, let me see, what have I been up to? Oh, Labor Day passed. And so I did a little retail therapy and I slept a lot. I needed that sleep. I was just so overwhelmed with getting school started and getting back into the swing of things, and I really needed to rest, so I rest a lot, a lot. I love my sleep. The following weekend, my oldest daughter and my granddaughters came for a visit, short little visit, just this past week, but I was happy that they came and they shared a little bit of time with me, and I'm looking forward to seeing them for Thanksgiving and all the rest of the kids. We're going to get together for Thanksgiving. So that's what I was up to. We had an opportunity to do our in service for the first of the month, which was great. It's always such a pleasure to be in the midst of the saints when you're worshiping together. It's just something about the energy that God, comes into the service and just touch and heal people from anything that they're going through. It can be small things. It don't always have to be anything huge. But God is great, and I was so happy to be able to be in the midst with the saints. I love those ladies, and I just love my church. And I love my pastor too, y'all. I got a thing for the pastor. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and roll our theme music, and then I'll be right back. All right. Again, I want to thank you for joining me. So our topic tonight is don't ignore the red flags. But before I go any farther, I want to also let you know that I have a little script that I just kind of keep on the side. But if at any moment anyone feel like it's something that they want to talk about, if you want to change the subject a little bit, I am okay with that. Just type in the comments and let me know and we can move on. And also, it's important because you never know if someone else out there may be going through something that's on your mind, or maybe they may have some advice or suggestions that could help you navigate through whatever it is that you're going through and whatever you're feeling. Perfect example is on the last session, we talked about not allowing people our peace. And I was explaining that I had a meeting that I had to go into. And in that meeting, I didn't want to get so, I didn't want my tone to come off as I was angry or I was upset, but that I was passionate. And one of the callers, my daughter Natalie, called in. I mean, she texted and she said, sometimes you have to take a deep belly breathe. I had never heard of that. But I said, okay, I'm going to try that, and I did, and I got my point across. I was I was stern about what I was saying, and I got my point across without them saying that I was the, you know how they say about black people, yeah, I'm the angry black woman, um, stereotypical thing that they stick on us when we're just passionate about how we feel about things. So if in fact, there is something that you may want to share with our audience, or even if you just want to make a suggestion, please feel free to do so. I have my engineer back there, and he's watching the chat for me. Thank you, babe. Watching the chat for me, and he's gonna give me a sign on, hey, check this comment out. So I am trying to look at the comments as well as do the podcast. So don't ignore the red flags. Sometimes as women, we tend to let things go. Even when our feelings are hurt or someone has made us feel uncomfortable, we'd be like, well, maybe he didn't feel that way, or maybe the way I perceive it is not the way that they expect it to be. Now, when I say don't ignore red flags, I mean in any situation, relationship with men, relationship with women, relationship with family, relationship on your job, and relationships in your church. Anytime someone gives you that, mm, if you don't, if we let it go, and sometimes when we let it go, it piles and it piles and it piles, and then when it gets to a point where you can't handle it anymore, it's an explosion. So don't ignore the red flags. Call them out for what they are. And even when we think that, you know, we want to justify, because the Bible says that we should turn the other cheek when things are happening. But sometimes when we turn that cheek, they hit the other cheek. Then what? So we want to avoid that by not ignoring red flags. And when people show us who they are, we have to believe them the first time. So I have a little video that I'm gonna roll right quick. I'm gonna have this video roll, and then we're gonna come right back and we're gonna talk about it.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Okay? Stop giving these people chances after chances after chances, waving their red flag in your face, literally holding it on their forehead. Their forehead is saying red flag, and you're still allowing these people to play in your face. Okay? No. Believe who these people tell you that they are. Believe who these people show you that they are, because they won't tell you who they are. But best believe they'll show you. Okay, people mask will slip. They can only hold up the facade for so long. Then their mask will start to slip. Once their mask slips, you need to take heed. Okay? You need to take heed. You need to leave them alone, because they will burn you. They will burn you, they will hurt you, and they will walk away like nothing happened. And you will be the one having to heal and put all the pieces back together. So don't allow these people, don't allow anyone to play in your face. Let them show you who they are. And when they show you who they are, then believe them.
All I can say is amen on that, because people will hide behind a mask and secretly be jealous of you, but yet they'll sit and they'll have tea and coffee with you, and then they'll show you, they'll be your friend. I remember a young lady said frenemies, and I was like, frenemy, you either a friend or you're an enemy. Which one is it? Because I couldn't put the two together, because I didn't understand how you can call yourself a friend and yet still be my enemy and smile in my face and laugh with me and you know go out with me or whatever. And at the end of the day, that you've had an issue with me the whole time. And me being like, oh, this is just who he is, or this is just who she is. And at the end of the day, I'm the one that's gonna end up picking up the pieces of my own life after I've let you just railroad me. So you have to really be careful, and you have to call them out for what you see. And even in the sometimes we talked about disturbing our peace the last time. Your peace is so important for you to protect. You have to protect your peace at all costs, because at the end of the day, like the young lady said, it's going to be you trying to figure out what you've done wrong. You take on ownership of something that was done to you. You know, a lot of people that have narcissistic behavior and do something, but then they become the victim when you speak up about it. Don't ignore those red flags. They will show themselves eventually. The mask will come off. And when it does, you'll be there to say, oh, all this time and this how you felt. No, that's not what you want. I have a perfect example of something that happened in my life. There was this person that I thought we were friends. When you saw her, you saw me. When we weren't together, we were on the phone. And I'm not the type of person that's on the phone. You know, I say what I have to say and I get off. If I'm on the phone for a long period of time, you have to know that I like you. Because other than that, I'm gonna say what I have to do, say, and I'm gonna get off, you know. But she had accused me of trying to destroy her livelihood, and I was perplexed because I was like, "You're training me on this job, so how am I trying to ruin this for you?" And mind you, all of this was done through text. And I'm gonna tell you, when you saw her, you saw me. If we weren't together, we were on the phone. We did so many different things together. I introduced her to my children, everything. So, nevertheless, as as this happened, I started going back into my memory bank, and I was like, huh. I started thinking about all the little things that was said underneath her breath and things that she would say out of the way, but I really ain't pick up on it. I was just like, oh, okay, well maybe she in her feelings today or whatever. I ignored the signs. And sometimes God try to take us from the very, very things that we try to hold on to. And we try to hold on to them so, so tight. And then when it finally breaks, then we're left like, why was I trying to hold on to that? What was the purpose? What was it going to benefit me by me trying to hold on to this friendship? When I'm doing all the friending and I'm trying to reach this person and I'm trying to be there, I'm trying to be supportive, but at the end of the day, this person is not supporting me. So at that particular time, it's like when you're hurt, you're broken, like the young lady said in the video, you're broken, you're hurt, and you don't know how to pick up the pieces because you're gonna have to pick them up. No one's gonna pick them up for you, but you gonna be the one to have to pick up those pieces. So at the end of the day, pay attention. Pay attention to how people treat you. You are worth more than just to be disrespected and mistreated, getting your feelings hurt. You are far more important to that. And after this whole situation, I ended up giving up relationships with women, and I was like, I was a bit standoffish because I was when I care when we as women care, we carry everything. And I think I've said that so many times. We care with everything within us. So when we get crushed, it hurts. So we kind of step back and say, "Oh no, I'm not going to do this. This the last time this happened." Mm-mm. And the crazy thing about it as well was I had some church hurt. So by that, I was like, "Oh no, I'm not going to be friends with anyone else." And then along comes this young lady, and this is what happened. And I just couldn't believe that all this time there was animosity that I didn't know, but I ignored the red flags, y'all. I ignored them. And like that young lady say, they can only hide behind that mask for so long until it starts slipping away and you start seeing them for exactly who they are. That's all. I mean, I just to have to get back into a place of trust and allowing people to be in your circle. My circle is really small now. I do have quite a few girlfriends that I hang out with, but my circle is really small, and I just kind of like stay to myself. And I don't consider myself to be better than anybody on this earth. God created all of us the same, and I don't consider Patsy to be no higher than anybody else. But I have to protect Patsy's peace, and you have to protect yours. And you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the signs because they're there. They're there. And if you continue to allow them to pull away at it, they're going to be pulling away at your soul. And then you're going to be angry. And you're going to trust nobody. There are warning signs. And and the crazy thing, another, I don't want to keep saying crazy thing, but another thing about it is um, you start taking ownership and saying, maybe it was something that I did, especially in relationships with men. You start, I mean, like when I was out there and I was dating, it's been a while, like 33 years. But when I was out there, and any time that I felt like I couldn't reach this this particular young guy, this young man, I always start thinking that it was something that I did. I wasn't pretty enough. I didn't wear my hair the right way. I was too fat. I didn't have thick thighs. I always, and it was always something physical because I felt like men are physical. They visual. And so maybe I don't have what the next person have, and maybe this and that. No, 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 no. I'm enough. You're enough. They just don't see the potential in you, and not that it's even potential. They don't see a good thing when they see it. You are enough in any relationship. You are enough, and don't allow people to send out signs to you telling you that you're not. You are enough. That's just it. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. I've been in that situation so many times, and I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way. So with that saying, we're gonna roll a second video and I'll be right back with you. Y'all can shout out to me now.
People show you who they are eventually. It's only but time that a person's true colors will come out. It's only going to take time for a person to really show you who they really are, what they're here for, and how quick they're willing to leave or turn their back on you.
You see that she says it all. It all. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before they show their true colors. And I'm not saying go and walk around with your life with your guards up. I'm not saying that. But you know the ones. You know the ones that made the slick remarks to you or the things that just hurt your feelings. I'm not one to have my feelings hurt and you walk over me and you say and you do what you want to do to me and I'm okay with that. You can't be okay with that because if you continue to allow, it's going to get worse. It's going to become more. It's going to become harder and more heartbreaking. So let me look at the chat and see who's on there. Oh, I see my mom is out there. Hey, mom, thank you so much for joining. I'm happy that you made it. Mom usually is busy on Thursday nights, but I called her up. Say, hey, mom, I'm going to be online. But anyway, so with that being said, so like I said, eventually it comes off. Eventually you see them exactly for who they are. And another thing, you start to point fingers at yourself and be down on yourself because you spent so much time allowing that person to try and just ruin you for no apparent reason. Sometimes it can just be sometimes it can just be jealousy for no apparent reason. I can understand why anybody in on this face of this earth would be jealous of me. Me? That's crazy. Not me, because I'm not boastful. I'm just me. I'm enough. I am enough. So I have a few steps to help you acknowledge how to acknowledge the red flags. The first thing is pay attention to your gut. If it's something that's consistently make you feel uncomfortable in the presence of people or that person who you thought was your close friend, call it out. If you feel like you're not respected, it's something that God gave us as an intuition. And when I tell you it works, it truly, truly works. And it has gotten me out of a lot of situations. Feel from your gut. If your gut says something about this is not right, Don't do it. Don't do it at all. Say, hold up. Mm. What did you say? Oh, okay. That's what you said. I thought I was just in it. So that's how you feel. Call it out. Name it. Whatever you see, call it out. Say, hey, I don't like this behavior. You're not respecting the boundary that I gave you. I'm gonna have to back away from this. Call them out. Like I said, it's only gonna benefit you in the end. It's only going to benefit you, and it's going to protect your peace. It's going to protect your character. You don't have to show off like, hey, I know you ain't said this, and no, we're not going to go there. We're adults, we're women, and we're not going to be trying to throw hands. No, no, no. That's not how we solve things. How we solve them is we bow out gracefully and we walk away. Because for every time, the Bible says for everything there is a season. And some people are only in your life for a short amount of time. And it's okay when they walk away. They did their purpose, whatever their purpose was for you. Maybe they were in your life to make you get on your knees and pray more. Maybe they're in your life to make you, encourage you to do something, maybe go to school or move to a new career or anything. But when that's a season, those people that are supposed to be with you for the duration, God's going to make sure they are there for the duration. So when it's time for them to go, let them go. Don't hold on to them. Let them go. And especially in any type of romantic relationship, if you feel like you're constantly trying to meet the need, meet the need, meet the need, and it's never being met, it's only because that's not the purpose for you. That relationship is not for you. It takes two to be in a relationship. You can't do it by yourself. It has to be two partners trying to work on this relationship together, and that goes with any relationship, not just male and female, best friends, family members, sisters, brothers. If you can't be in it by yourself. I tell in our marriage podcast, I always make the reference of um, when you in the boxing ring, right, and you're in a relationship with someone, and y'all in the boxing, and you boxing, and when you get tired, you got to be able to tag that other person so they can come in and finish the fight. And that's how it is with any relationship. You got to be able to tag your friend, your best friend, your cousin, your brother, your sister, and say, "Hey, I can't do it no more. I need you to come in and take the rest of this." And that's how it goes, and vice versa. But if we're not in this relationship together, and if we're not working on it together, then somebody got to bow out gracefully. And sometimes that person might be you. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that you failed at it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you're not a fighter. What it means is that you're not a footstool, and you're not going to stay there and allow people to just continue to come at you and you don't say anything about it. That's what that means. Separate hope from reality. Don't try and look at the potential. Oh, he has potential. Eventually he'll get over whatever it is and we'll grow together. No, 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 no. No. They have potential. They have to work on their own potential. You can't do that. You can't change them. Or even if your friend is saying, "Oh, maybe she's just stressed out." Maybe she's stressed out. Maybe she is, but we all get stressed. But we don't take it out on one another. We don't belittle one another. And I think it's so important that when you see that a queen crown is crooked, you go over and you correct it. You put it, girl, let me help you out. Encourage her. Don't talk bad against her. Don't go behind her back and say, "Child, her crown almost fell." No, we have to be there to support one another in every aspect. If a person is if the behavior continue to be in patterns, how it happens all indirectly. Oh, that's a good one. Indirectly. People will say stuff to you indirectly and laugh. Yeah, they will. But when you catch on to that and you pay attention, when you catch on to people being indirectly saying things to you and thinking it's a joke, That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Now, mind you, everybody make mistakes, but the red flags, they consistent. Once that mask come off and they get comfortable with saying those things to you, yeah, those are consistent behaviors. Those are manipulations. I have a comment. Let me read one of the comments. Oh, from Hi, Ismaitha. Thank you for joining. Yeah, she said she said the biggest mistake is going for potential. Oh, yes. You cannot create them to be what you want them to be or to be what you think they could be. You can't. They have to want that for themselves. And they so busy coming down on you that they cannot see what they want for themselves. Any type of behavior that they lie, they manipulate, they disrespect, these are patterns. And if we continue to let it go on, it's gonna hurt and harm us. So we have to stand up for ourselves and we have to protect our peace and our purpose at all counts. One time it might be an accident or a mistake, but when it continue to happen, it's a pattern, and that's a red flag. To bow out gracefully. Even if you come like if you have the problem where you can't go to this person and talk to this person, or you don't know how to approach this person, seek somebody outside and give them the perspective on what's going on and what you're picking up on and see what they say. And you might even say, "Am I feeding too much into this?" Or, what do you think? Like a young lady at work the other day asked me, say, she was telling me that she was having some concerns about a relationship. And the next question was, "Do you think I'm feeding too much into this?" And I thought, no, I think you're pretty much right where it is. If we don't question the relationships that we have, if we don't question the things that goes on around us in our circle and outside our circle, then we're gonna find ourselves picking up the pieces and trying to heal our own self. So we have to be so careful on first of all, who we allow into our space. Pick up on it. And even if you have some concerns, always go to the man upstairs and he will show you. All you got to do is say, Lord, show me this. Let me see it for what it really is. The same way you can go to him and say, Lord, I want to love people like you love people. I want to see past the outside. I want to see the heart of people. The same way as when people are doing you wrong, he will show you. He will show you. And if you can't talk to a mentor or somebody that you trust, somebody that's a good listener, because sometimes when you talk to people, they talk over you and you don't ever really get to the point of getting assistance with the situation. Go to someone that's a good listener, someone that you could trust, someone that will tell you, okay, now I think you're looking a little too far into that. It's not that deep. But that person, you should be able to take that advice and say, you know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I am. But always remember, red flags are consistent, they disrespectful, and they manipulating. So those are some signs that you can definitely look out for. Now, they'll be they'll be so happy to be in your space that they won't even realize um, that you caught on to them. Yeah, they won't even realize. So let me go back to the comments again. Okay, comments. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, okay. Ismatha says jokes have some truth in it. They do. They do. It's exactly how they feel. It's kind of like, uh, you know, uh, a drunk man came into our church one day when I was young, and he was telling everybody exactly how he how he felt about the pastor. The pastor was a good guy. I mean, I was young. I thought he was a pretty cool guy, but this guy really went on and he just started talking about it. I'm like, okay. But at the end of the day, he started to quote scripture, and I was like, this man know the word almost better than the pastor. Because although they were putting our jokes aside, a lot of the stuff that he was saying happened to be true about that pastor. So yeah, it do happen. Izzy also says you have to have at least one person in your corner that's pro relationship to bounce ideas off of. Suffering in silence is so dangerous. It is so true. You always have to have someone in your corner, someone that you could trust with your someone you can be vulnerable with, but they in the same. You don't want to go to a person who don't have a teenager with advice on how to deal with a teenager, or a person that don't have a baby on advice on how to breastfeed. You want to be in a cahoots with people that can understand where you're coming from. So that is so important. Pro relationship, that is so because and another thing too, in a relationship, if you in a relationship and your friend or that person is not in a relationship, they're only going to give you advice from a single person's point of view. That's another thing that we talk about in the podcast, in our marriage in real life podcast as well, because they can only see things from a single person point of view. So they ain't got no man, and so mind you, you got one. You trying to figure out how that relationship is gonna work out. And here she over here telling you, you know, get rid of him. No, you don't want to do that. There's this song, I think I can't remember the singer, but she said something about Shantae or some Shauna got a man at home, and don't get it twisted. Just because your man is out there doing whatever, I got a man at home. So sometimes we have to make sure that we have a balance. And it's nothing wrong with having single friends who are in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. But take advice from people who can actually understand and relate to what you're going through, even when you're going through relationships, who are shooting out disrespectful things towards you. And that way you can bounce it off somebody else and have someone to call. Like usually when I'm going through something, I'll call my mom. And sometimes I call the girls. I'll be like, hey y'all, what y'all think about this? And they'll let me know, like, mom, you just putting too much into it. They'll tell me. Or they'll tell me, well, there's a thing going around Facebook say, if you need somebody to handle business, which one of your children will you call? And I was like, Nikki. Because I know Nikki is she's gonna be like, take names and ask questions later. Come on, mom, let's do this. Now, if I want somebody that's gonna be calm, I'm gonna call Nat or Jordan, because they're gonna be like, now wait a minute before we go this far. But they have my back, you know. Now I can call Peaches. Erica's another one that I can call. She gonna say ask questions later. I call Peaches. Peaches gonna be like, okay, but why are we doing this? She gonna try and find out what's going on and why we gotta get this done. Oh, I'm gonna help you out, mom, but I need to know details. So, and with that being said, like you have to have that person in your corner that's gonna be able to help you solve your situation versus causes problems for your situation, if that make any sense. But yeah, so uh when they come into your space and they try to disturb your peace, yeah, you gotta let them know. You gotta let them know. Mhm. So you gotta let them know, because at the end of the day, if they don't know, they can't help. They can't help, and like you don't want to suffer in silence. That's a lonely, lonely, lonely place to be. You gotta reach out. You have to reach out. You know, um, I always tell people I'm available if you need to talk, and a lot of people say that I'm available if you need to talk. But are you really available? You know, I'm not a phone person, but if you call me and you say, I'm going through, I'm stopping everything that I got going on. And I don't care where I am. If I'm in a restaurant, I'm walking out. If I'm asleep, I'm waking up and getting out of the bed. I'm coming to the rescue. So if you call me, I'm going to pick up that phone, because nothing it's more disturbing than when you feel like you're alone in this thing. You're alone in this journey. Yeah. I have a comment. Hey, Melissa. Atlanta is in the house. She said, I was recently discussing the importance of having someone whom you trust to talk to. However, I was told no, don't talk to anyone, take it to God. Whew. Well, okay. Oh, you know what? I believe in taking things to God, but I also believe that God put people in our lives that we can talk to on the physical side. And I think it's so important to have that physical person that's non-judgmental. You know, you can go to them with the A and they'll give you the B. They'll tell you when you're wrong and they'll tell you when you're right. And I think God has placed that person for everyone. You know, you if you hold it in, our God is an on time God, but He works in His timing, not our timing. And as humans, we get a little impatient. We feel like we gotta get it out. You know, we we got to get it out. We got to hear someone else's opinion on maybe am I looking too deep into this or maybe I'm not. You know, so I think it's so and I think it's important to have someone to talk to. God is our spiritual father and he's going to direct us. And you know what? When you talking to him, say, Lord, direct me to the person that I can share this with. That's not going to share it with anybody else. That's not going to belittle me and that's not going to use it against me because those so-called friends with these red flags, you is confide in them and they'll take that and use it against you and flip it right back on you, throw it right back in your face. So I think it's really, really important, very important that you have someone in the physical. But ask God to guide you, Melissa. He will. He will. That's one thing I know about the Lord. And I've been on this journey since I was 12 years old. God has never failed me. I've gone through some ups and downs in my life. Lord knows I have. But He's always been right there to pick me up off the ground, shake me off, dust me off, and get me back on that journey again. And not to say that it's been easy, and I fell off that road many of times. But I look to the hills because I know without him, I am nothing. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, she said, "Oh yeah, that's Shantae's got a man." Yeah, I could not think of her name, but I was just listening to that song because I listen to a lot of older music, 90s, early 2000s. Because this other stuff I just can't. Anyway, it's too much for me. But yeah. So I feel where you're coming from, and I understand. And at any given moment, I'm not one to. If you tell me something, it's going to the grave. Unless you say, "Can you ask your mom what she thinks?" Or can you ask so and so? Other than that, it's going to the grave. And even if I have shared things with people that have come back to me and things that they've shared with me, I'm taking it to the grave because I'm that type of person. I'm that type of person. Your business is your business, not my business to tell. So I understand sometimes you get a little um, discouraged about sharing things, and I get it because when things get back to me, I have gotten discouraged. But I share everything with Eric. Sometimes I be like, "Child, let me tell you." He be like, child," you know. So that's my bouncing board. I live into that. So with that being said, these are all of the signs. Just separate hope from reality. Look for patterns, not just little, moments. Look for that indirectness that they'll be throwing your way. You know, make sure you talk to someone and seek out. Am I looking into this too much, or is this really happening? And most of the time, if you got to go to somebody, most likely it's happening. Not all the time, but most likely it's happening. And you just have to decide on how you're going to handle it when you if set boundaries, protect your purpose, protect your peace, communicate it clearly. I know we've been friends for a while, and you know I love you like a sister, but I think it's time that we just go our separate ways, or just walk away and say, I'm done with that. Again, certain people are in your lives for certain seasons. And when it's time for them to go, let them go. So, yeah, when you see what you say, you know what? I trust what I see and I feel. I see the signs, even when they are hard to accept. Because sometimes you might really, really like a person, be like, this person is so cool, and you just totally ignored all the things that was being done to you. And now it's time to move on. Yeah, now it's time to move on. But with that being said, that's the wrap up for the night. If anybody want to call in and share, oh, I got another. Oh, hey, Lindsay. Lindsay say protect your peace. I'm telling you, protect your peace at all costs because people will take advantage. They will take advantage of your peace. They will disrespect you, and then they will throw it in your face. They will. Your peace is your power. And I think we said that the last time. Your peace is your power. And don't allow anyone to take that peace. Anyone or anything that's going to cause a hiccup in your peace, they got to go. They have to go. And a lot of times, and I hear this like, well, I work with a lot of young women, young teachers, and they go through relationship problems. And some of the stuff that they go through, I say at this age, there is no way I would put up with that. But when I was their age, most likely I did. So it's always a growing process in any relationship, any relationship. I mean, the relationship with me and my sister is like so awesome now, but it hasn't always been that way. However, I needed to mend this relationship because at the end of the day, she the only sister I got. So, I had to make it a point. No, you know what? I don't care if she mad at me. I don't care. No, I'm finna find her. We gonna talk about it and we gonna move on. Even with my brother, right now we a little strained. I'm not sure why, but um, I still love him, and if he called me, I'm gonna be right there for him. Sometimes we have to. Those are the relationships that are not seasonal. Those are relationships that your parents just gave you, and you have no other choice. So you have to step out there. You have to step out there and you have to do what you have to do in that particular situation. And even with other relatives, it's okay to distance yourself from certain relatives if they're causing, um, if they're disturbing your peace. It's okay. You can try and regroup and go back. And if it's still the same, then you just go ahead and you stand back and you wait for them to come. As you know, as Christian women, we have to be able to accept change in a person, and we can see it. Remember that intuition, that gut feeling. That gut feeling gonna tell you right away, she ain't ready for you yet. She ain't ready yet. Uh, as my grandmother would say, a long handled wooden spoon. You feed them like that, and you'll be okay. Thank you, Lindsay. You cute too. So yeah. So if anybody want to call in, 754-222-2219. You can call in if you want to share something or just want to advise someone, even if you want to flip the script and talk about something else. We got about 15 minutes. Um, Other than that, that's a wrap. I just wanted to share that with you all. I've been completely depending on the Lord to choose what I talk about. Um, and he has really been encouraging me to talk about things that a lot of times they don't talk about, especially in the church. I don't know if you guys have seen this footage going around about the pastor, the female pastor that shut down the praise and worship leader. And I'm not really sure the whole scenario, but because she didn't get the type of greeting that she's used to, she called the young lady out. And I'm pretty sure so much more to those stories, but to that story, but the red flags had been there. I don't know if they were on her side or on the young lady's side. But sometimes in the church you have to be careful too because people will shoot stuff at you. Yeah, they will shoot stuff at you, and think it's okay. Oh, well, it's the love of the Lord. Hmm, okay. God is not in the midst of confusion. So if that happened in church, you got to take that to the Lord. And if God say, yeah, it's your time, you need to walk. You need to walk because you can't grow spiritually when you're under the leadership of someone that's trying to disrespect you, humiliate you, embarrass you. That's a red flag. It's time to go. Oh, anyway, so I have a last video, and I'm gonna come right back to you after this video. Can you roll that for me, engineer?
When people show you who they are, believe them.
Yes, absolutely. A person says to you, I'm selfish, or I'm mean, or I am unkind,
Well, I'm crazy.
or believe them. They know themselves much better than you do.
Hmm.
But no, more often than not, those of us who don't trust life say, don't say a thing like that. You're
Hmm.
not really crazy. You're not really unkind. You're not really mean. And as soon as you say that, the person
Let you know.
and shows you, I told you.
Hmm.
I told you I was unkind. So now why are you angry?
Wow, that holds so much because exactly they tell you, they show you, they show you by their actions, they show you by their body language, and yet we ignore it. We ignore the signs. The signs are there, but we ignore them. And it's so important to recognize them immediately. You're worth more than what people think that you are. You're worth more to yourself. You are a gem. You are a diamond. So don't buckle down and let people treat you any kind of way, no matter in what circumstances. You know, you're an adult. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be respected, and you should. And if you treat yourself, if you present yourself that way, you won't have a problem. People be like, oh no, she's not the one to be trying, or he's not the one to be trying, because they'll see the confidence in you that I'm not going to bow down to the foolery any kind of way. So, yeah. So that's gonna be it for the night, y'all. Unless anybody wants to call leaving, but other than that, I thank you for joining me. I think I'll be doing my season finale the next 2 weeks, so it's gonna pretty much gonna wrap up everything, so we can roll right into marriage in real life. I'm excited about that. I think that's season 5 that we're coming into. It's been a journey, and I thank you guys for joining us tonight. And I definitely thank the team that joins us for real life marriage in real life. So, with that being said, I want to wish you guys a good night, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.